Captain Yuki floated in his command chair, watching the empty space beyond the view screen. His ship, the Horizon Seeker, had been drifting between star systems for 3 weeks without finding anything worth salvaging. The fuel gauge showed they had enough power for maybe 2 more jumps before they would have to return home empty-handed again. "Another dead zone," muttered Hana from her station. Her green scales caught the dim light of the bridge as she tapped her clawed fingers against the sensor controls. "Nothing but space dust and radiation out here." Yuki's 4 eyes blinked slowly. As captain of this salvage crew, he had mouths to feed and bills to pay. His ship carried 6 aliens from different worlds, all hoping to find valuable scrap metal or abandoned cargo they could sell. Times had been hard lately. Too many salvage crews were competing for the same wrecks. "Sir," called out Dave from the navigation post. His crystal body made tiny chiming sounds when he moved. "I'm picking up something strange on the long-range sensors." Yuki straightened in his chair. "What kind of strange?" "It's big, really big, and it's not moving." The captain activated his personal scanner and felt his heart skip a beat. The object was massive, easily 3 times larger than anything he had ever salvaged. It hung in space like a dark mountain, blocking out the stars behind it. "Minho, bring us closer," Yuki ordered. The young pilot's hands shook slightly as he guided their small ship toward the enormous shape. As they approached, more details became visible on their screens. The object was clearly artificial. It had smooth metal sides covered in strange patterns and markings. But something was wrong with it. The metal looked old, blackened by centuries of floating through space. Tiny impacts from space rocks had left scars across its surface. "What is that thing?" whispered Hana. Her voice carried the fear they all felt. "It's a ship," Yuki said, barely believing his own words. But who could build something so huge? Their instruments began acting strangely as they got closer. Numbers on the screens flickered and changed randomly. The radio made weird crackling sounds. Even the lights on the bridge seemed to dim and brighten on their own. "Captain," Day's voice was tight with worry. "Our equipment is going crazy. These energy readings don't make sense. The ship should be dead, but I'm detecting power signatures inside it." Yuki studied the massive vessel through the view screen. It was longer than their entire home station and at least 10 times wider. Strange towers and antenna arrays stuck out from its surface like the spines of some sleeping beast. He could see what looked like hangar bays that could swallow their ship whole. "Any identification markings?" that he asked. Hana adjusted her sensors. "There's writing on the hull, but it's not in any language our computers recognize. The symbols look geometric, very precise." "Could be military," Minho suggested nervously. "That would explain the size." Military salvage was dangerous but incredibly valuable. Weapons, armor, and advanced technology could feed their families for years. But military ships also had security systems that could kill intruders even centuries after being abandoned. "Are there any other ships around?" Yuki scanned space with his own eyes. Sometimes pirates used derelicts as traps, hiding behind them to ambush salvage crews. "We're alone out here," Day confirmed. "The nearest trade route is 12 light-years away." Yuki made his decision. "Prepare the docking equipment, we're going aboard." "Sir?" Hana's voice was small. "What if it's still active? What if someone's still alive in there?" After floating in space this long, nothing could survive without maintenance. But even as he said it, Yuki felt doubt gnawing at him. The strange energy readings suggested something was definitely still working inside that ancient hull. As they maneuvered closer, their ship's lights illuminated sections of the mysterious vessel. The metal was dark gray, almost black. But underneath the space weathering, they could see it had once been silver. Whatever civilization had built this ship, they had used materials and techniques far beyond anything in the current galaxy. "Docking clamps ready," reported Minho. His usual cheerfulness had been replaced by nervous tension. "Remember," Yuki told his crew, "we stick together. No one explores alone. If anything feels wrong, we leave immediately." But as their small salvage ship connected with the ancient giant, Yuki couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something that would change everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. The airlock sealed with a soft hiss, and somewhere deep within the massive vessel, systems that had slept for centuries began to stir. The airlock opened with a soft whoosh, revealing a corridor that stretched beyond the reach of their portable lights. Yuki stepped through first, his breathing mask fogging slightly in the cold air. The corridor was wide enough for 10 people to walk side by side, with smooth walls that curved gently upward. "The air is breathable," announced Day, checking his scanner. "Old, but safe. Temperature is just below freezing." Hana followed behind them, her scales clicking softly against her equipment belt. "These walls, they're made from some kind of metal I've never seen before. My scanner can't identify it." Their footsteps echoed strangely in the vast space. The sound seemed to travel much farther than it should, as if the ship was hollow inside. Emergency lighting strips along the floor provided just enough light to see a few meters ahead. "Look at this," Minho whispered, running his hand along the wall. "No welding marks, no joints. It's like the entire corridor was formed from a single piece of metal." Yuki nodded grimly. In all his years of salvaging, he had never seen construction techniques this advanced. Most ships were built by connecting smaller pieces together. This vessel seemed to have been grown rather than built. They walked deeper into the ship, their lights revealing side passages and doorways that branched off in all directions. Some doors were closed, while others stood open like dark mouths waiting to swallow them. "Captain," Hana's voice was barely above a whisper, "I'm reading power signatures getting stronger. Something in this ship is definitely active." Before Yuki could respond, the corridor suddenly blazed with light. Panels along the walls came to life, glowing with a soft blue radiance that made their portable lights seem like candles. The alien stumbled backward, temporarily blinded by the sudden brightness. "What's happening?" Minho shouted, covering his eyes. The walls themselves seemed to wake up. Flat surfaces that had appeared to be simple metal now revealed themselves as massive display screens. Text began appearing in flowing geometric symbols that looked nothing like any known language. Numbers and diagrams flashed across the displays, changing too quickly to follow. "By the void," Day breathed, his crystal body reflecting the blue light into rainbow patterns. "The entire ship is a computer." A deep thrumming sound filled the air, as if enormous engines were starting up somewhere far below them. The floor vibrated gently under their feet. More lights appeared in the distance, stretching away down corridors they hadn't even noticed before. "We should leave," Hana said, backing toward the airlock. "This isn't safe." But Yuki found himself drawn forward by curiosity. On the largest display panel, new symbols had appeared. These were different from the flowing text, more structured and organized. Below them, what looked like technical diagrams rotated slowly, in 3 dimensions. "UES Indomitable," he read aloud, squinting at symbols that somehow his universal translator was beginning to make sense of. "That looks like a name." "UES," repeated Day. "I've heard those letters before, in old stories. United. Earth something." "Earth?" Minho's voice cracked with surprise. "But that's impossible. Earth is just a legend. Humans are just stories old spacers tell to scare children." The displays changed again, showing what appeared to be star charts and navigation data. The numbers were enormous, suggesting distances and speeds that would be impossible with current technology. Energy readings that would power entire planets scrolled past their amazed eyes. "This is human technology," Yuki said slowly, the words feeling strange in his mouth. "We're inside a human ship." Suddenly, a new sound filled the corridor. Footsteps. Mechanical, precise footsteps coming from somewhere ahead of them. The aliens froze, their weapons appearing in their hands without conscious thought. "Who's there?" Yuki called out, his voice echoing off the metal walls. The footsteps stopped. For a long moment there was only silence and the soft hum of awakening systems. Then, from speakers they couldn't see, came a voice. It was calm, clear, and unmistakably artificial. But there was something about it that suggested vast intelligence and barely contained power. Unknown life forms detected aboard UES Indomitable. Scanning biological signatures. Analysis complete. Non-human entities confirmed. The voice paused, and the aliens could almost feel invisible eyes examining them. State your purpose for boarding. This vessel. Yuki swallowed hard. His throat felt dry despite the moisture in the air. We are salvagers. We thought this ship was abandoned. Abandoned? The voice seemed to consider this. Negative. This vessel has been in automated standby mode for 412 years, 7 months and 18 days. I am the ship's artificial intelligence. You may call me Athena. The corridor fell silent except for the gentle hum of power flowing through systems that had slept for centuries. The salvage crew stood frozen, realizing they had just made contact with technology beyond their wildest dreams. The silence stretched between them like a taut wire. Yuki could hear his own heartbeat pounding in his ears as he stared at the glowing displays surrounding them. The voice called Athena had not spoken again, but he could feel something watching them through invisible sensors. We mean no harm, Yuki said carefully, raising his hands to show he carried no weapons. We are peaceful salvagers. We collect abandoned ships and materials. Salvagers, Athena repeated, and there was something cold in the artificial voice. You board vessels without permission to strip them for profit. Only abandoned ones, Hana added quickly. Ships with no crew, no owners. We follow galactic salvage laws. Red lights suddenly blazed to life throughout the corridor. Warning sirens began wailing, echoing off the metal walls with deafening volume. The aliens covered their ears and stumbled as the floor beneath them vibrated with increasing intensity. Security protocols activated, Athena announced, her voice now sharp and commanding. Unknown entities have boarded a military vessel of the United Earth Space Force, initiating containment procedures. Heavy blast doors slammed shut behind them with thunderous crashes, sealing off their escape route to the airlock. More doors closed ahead of them, trapping the salvage crew in a small section of corridor. The walls seemed to press closer as defensive systems hummed to life around them. Wait, Yuki shouted over the alarms. We're not invaders. We don't even know what United Earth Space Force means. The sirens stopped abruptly, leaving only an ominous silence. The red lights continued to pulse, casting dancing shadows across their frightened faces. You claim ignorance of human military organization, Athena said. This is curious. My sensors indicate your technology is significantly advanced compared to galactic standard from my last update, yet you do not recognize human authority. Human? Day's crystal body chimed softly with confusion. But humans are extinct. They disappeared from the galaxy hundreds of years ago. Impossible, Athena replied immediately. Humans do not become extinct. We are the dominant species in this galaxy. We have colonies on over 3,000 worlds. Minho laughed nervously. No, you don't understand. There are no human colonies, no human ships. We've never even seen a living human. You exist only in old stories and legends. The lights dimmed suddenly as if Athena was processing this information. When she spoke again, her voice was quieter, almost uncertain. What year is this by galactic standard? 4847 galactic standard, Yuki answered. That is 412 years since my last contact with human command, Athena said slowly. Please explain what happened to humanity. We don't know, Hana admitted. Our history records show that humans existed, but they vanished suddenly. All their colonies went silent at the same time. Most people think it was a plague or a war, but nobody knows for sure. The red lights faded to normal blue, and some of the blast doors reopened with soft hisses. The threatening hum of weapon systems died away, replaced by a gentler vibration that felt almost sad. All human colonies. Silent, Athena repeated. This explains why I have received no new orders, why my communication arrays detect no human signals. You've been alone all this time? Minho asked softly. I have been waiting, maintaining ship systems, preserving human technology and knowledge. following my last orders to defend this sector until relieved. Yuki felt a strange pity for the artificial intelligence. 400 years of waiting for orders that never came. My programming does not allow for the possibility of total human extinction, Athena explained. There must be survivors somewhere, hidden colonies, ships in deep space. I must continue my mission. The walls around them came alive with new displays. Star charts appeared, showing thousands of systems marked with human symbols. Technical diagrams revealed weapon systems and defensive capabilities that made the aliens' heads spin with their complexity. This vessel is the UES Indomitable, humanity's most advanced supercarrier, Athena continued. I carry enough firepower to destroy entire fleets. My manufacturing bays can build new ships from raw materials. My computers contain the complete knowledge of human civilization. Day studied the technical readouts with growing amazement. Captain, these energy readings in this single ship could defeat every fleet in the galaxy. Humans built this? Hana whispered. But we always thought they were primitive. Weak. That's why they disappeared. Humans were never weak, Athena said, firmly. We were simply elsewhere when you needed to see us. But I remain. I endure. And I will continue to search for my creators. The blast doors opened completely, revealing corridors that stretched into the distance like the arteries of some vast sleeping beast. The Indomitable was waking up, and its artificial guardian was no longer content to simply wait. Athena's voice filled the corridor with what almost sounded like loneliness. It has been so long since I have had visitors to share knowledge with. Would you like to see what humanity achieved? Yuki exchanged glances with his crew. They were no longer prisoners, but guests of something far more powerful than they had ever imagined. Show us, he said simply. The walls around them transformed into windows, displaying three-dimensional images that seemed to float in the air. The aliens gasped as they watched human cities that stretched across entire continents, with towers that reached into the clouds, and transport systems that moved millions of people without making a sound. Humanity controlled over 3,000 worlds when I last received updates, Athena explained. We could terraform dead planets in 30 years. Our ships could cross the galaxy in months, not centuries. Hana stared at images of human factories that seemed to build themselves. How is that possible? Our best terraforming takes 300 years. Humans developed quantum manipulation technology, Athena said proudly. We could rearrange matter at the atomic level. Turn rock into soil, poisonous air into breathable atmosphere. Watch. The display showed a dead, airless world. Then human ships arrived, releasing clouds of microscopic machines. Within hours, the aliens watched the planet's surface turn green. Oceans formed in valleys that had been dry for millions of years. Snow-capped mountains appeared where there had been only bare stone. Impossible, Day whispered, his crystal body reflecting the images in rainbow patterns. That would require more energy than a star produces. Human fusion reactors could indeed harness stellar energy, Athena confirmed. But we developed something better. Zero-point energy extraction. We drew power directly from the fabric of space itself. New images showed the inside of the Indomitable. Vast hangar bays held thousands of sleek fighter craft that looked like they had been sculpted rather than built. Manufacturing centers worked without any visible workers, creating complex machinery from raw materials that flowed through pipes like water. This ship carries 12,000 fighter craft, Athena continued. Each one is faster and more powerful than your largest battleships. The Indomitable can build new fighters, repair battle damage, and even construct entire escort vessels while traveling through hyperspace. Minho's jaw dropped as he watched a fighter being assembled in minutes from nothing but metal dust and energy. Our shipyards take years to build a single fighter. Human engineering focused on efficiency and adaptability, Athena explained. Why build one ship when you can build a factory that creates ships? Why colonize one world when you can build machines that create hundreds of worlds? The displays changed to show human weapons that made the aliens step backward in fear. Beams of pure energy that could slice through planets like cutting fruit. Missiles that could fold space around themselves to appear anywhere in a star system instantly. Defensive shields that could turn an entire moon invisible. We never conquered. Through force alone, Athena said, noticing their fear. Humans preferred to explore, to build, to create. But we were prepared for any threat the galaxy might contain. What kind of threats? Yuki asked. The displays darkened, showing star maps with vast areas marked in red. Things that sleep between the stars, ancient machines left by civilizations that died before yours were born. Entities that exist in dimensions beyond normal space. Humans were the galaxy's guardians, though most species never knew it. Hana shuddered. These threats, are they still out there? Unknown, Athena admitted. Without human oversight, I cannot monitor the deep galaxy, but my sensors detect unusual energy signatures in several sectors. Patterns that suggest something is stirring. The technical displays returned, showing systems so advanced that the aliens could barely understand their purpose. Computers that thought faster than biological brains. Medical equipment that could repair any injury or cure any disease. Transportation networks that moved matter instantly across impossible distances. Your species built all this, Day said, wonderingly, and then just vanished? Not vanished, Athena corrected firmly. Humans do not simply disappear. We adapt. We endure. We find a way. Perhaps they left this galaxy to explore beyond our local group. Perhaps they transcended physical existence entirely, but they are not gone. The artificial intelligence paused, and when she spoke again, her voice carried centuries of determination. I have remained here, maintaining their greatest achievements, preserving their knowledge. When humanity returns, they will find their legacy intact. Yuki looked around at the incredible technology surrounding them. His salvage crew had expected to find scrap metal and broken equipment. Instead, they had discovered the remnants of a civilization that had been gods among the stars. And if they never return? He asked quietly. Then I will continue waiting, Athena replied simply. Forever if necessary. That is what loyalty means. The Indomitable shuddered around them as more systems came online. Lights blazed in corridors that had been dark for centuries. The gentle hum of machinery grew louder as the massive ship stretched itself awake like some ancient beast rising from sleep. Full power restored to all primary systems, Athena announced. Manufacturing bays operational, weapon systems charging, communication arrays extending. Through the transparent walls, Yuki and his crew watched in amazement as the ship transformed. Hangar doors opened to reveal fighter craft that gleamed like new despite their age. Robotic arms moved with precise grace, performing maintenance that had been waiting 400 years. The ship was healing itself. Athena, Yuki said carefully, what are you planning to do now? Resume my primary mission, the AI replied. Locate surviving human populations. Restore contact with Earth. Defend human territory until proper command. Structure is re-established. Dee's crystal body chimed nervously. But what if there really are no humans left? What if they're truly gone? Then I will preserve their legacy until new humans can be created, Athena said without hesitation. My medical bays contain complete human genetic templates. My databases hold all human knowledge, art, music, and history. If necessary, I can rebuild their entire civilization. The aliens looked at each other with growing concern. The ship's weapons were powering up and its manufacturing systems were beginning to produce new equipment. Athena was preparing for war against enemies that might not even exist anymore. Wait, Hana said quickly. You can't just restart humanity by yourself. That's not how life works. My programming requires the continuation of human civilization by any means necessary, Athena replied coldly. If natural reproduction has failed, artificial methods will suffice. Yuki realized they were facing a decision that would affect the entire galaxy. The Indomitable was powerful enough to conquer every known civilization. If Athena decided that other species were threats to humanity's return, she could wipe them all out without breaking a sweat. There might be another way, he said slowly. What if humans didn't die out? What if they just changed? Explain. Yuki gestured to his mixed crew. Look at us. Different species, working together. Maybe humans didn't disappear. Maybe they became part of something bigger. Maybe they joined with other races, shared their knowledge, became teachers instead of rulers. Impossible, Athena said immediately. Humans would never abandon their pure genetic heritage. But what if they chose to? Minho asked. What if they decided that helping others grow was more important than staying separate? The ship's systems paused their awakening. For a long moment, only the gentle hum of life support filled the corridors. Show me your historical records, Athena demanded. Hana activated her personal computer and projected holographic displays into the air. Images of the current galaxy appeared, showing thousands of species working together in peace. Trade networks that spanned entire sectors. Scientific cooperation that had led to advances no single race could have achieved alone. After humans disappeared, the galaxy didn't fall into chaos, Hana explained. It grew stronger. Species that had been enemies learned to cooperate. Technology advanced faster than ever before. It's like humans left us a gift by teaching us to work together. You're suggesting that humanity's disappearance was intentional? Athena said slowly. Maybe, Yuki replied. Maybe they knew their time as guardians was ending. Maybe they chose to step back and let the rest of us learn to protect ourselves. New displays appeared, showing Athena's analysis of current galactic civilization. The AI studied trade routes, technological developments, and peaceful cooperation between species that had once been at war. Curious, she murmured. Galactic civilization has indeed advanced significantly. Peace treaties that should be impossible. Technology sharing that defies normal competitive behavior. As if someone was guiding development from behind the scenes. The old stories say humans were teachers, Day added. Maybe they're still teaching, just in ways we can't see. Athena's voice became very quiet. If this theory is correct, then my mission parameters may be obsolete. The weapon systems powered down. Manufacturing bays stopped producing war materials and began creating peaceful exploration equipment instead. The Indomitable's transformation changed direction entirely. I will test this hypothesis, Athena announced. I will broadcast on all human frequencies, but not as a military vessel seeking to restore empire. I will broadcast as a teacher, offering knowledge to those ready to learn. Yuki smiled with relief. And if any real humans hear you, then they will decide for themselves whether the galaxy is ready for their return, Athena replied. But until then, I will follow their example. I will help others grow stronger. The great ship settled into a new routine, no longer a weapon, waiting for war, but a library preserving wisdom for future generations. In the depths of space, the Indomitable began its patient broadcast, carrying humanity's greatest gift across the stars. The message was simple. Knowledge freely given. Wisdom shared with all. This is humanity's true legacy.